We're going to start today talking about the Keep Our Zoo campaign. Yes, on Measure Z. Alisha Anderson joins me this afternoon. How are you, Alisha?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I think I need to tell everybody right up front, years ago, I was a volunteer at the zoo. I used to spend my time out there shoveling up after, well, Nosy was still there then, after the elephants, and back when you had rhinos, too.
Yes.
I had the big wheelbarrow full of their droppings.
Rhinos are...
But I loved it out there. I've always loved the zoo. I voted yes for the first Measure Z.
Thank you.
I plan to vote yes again on Measure Z.
Thank you. But rhinos are coming back thanks to Measure Z.
Because of Africa.
Because of Africa, yes.
The new
That'll
Africa
be one
exhibit.
of the animals that's in Africa.
Yeah. The first Measure Z, for those of you who don't know, Measure Z is a 1/10 of 1 cent sales tax devoted totally to the zoo. So if you spend $100, that's how much?
Well, it's 1 penny on $10.
1 penny
to
on
make
$10.
It even smaller.
So 10 cents on
Yep,
$100.
on $100, exactly.
Goes completely to the zoo. And look what they've been able to do. Sea Lion Cove, spectacular, just won an award.
International award.
International.
Amongst its peers, and it was in the same category as the Smithsonian, which is National Zoo, San Diego, and SeaWorld, and Fresno won.
And if you haven't seen the plans for Africa, the Africa exhibit out there, I know there are people that aren't happy about a good chunk of Roding Park being taken up by this zoo expansion, but it is going to be spectacular.
And there, you make a great point that we hear often. When this is done, the zoo will be 39 acres. There is still 110 acres left of Roding Park. There's a lot of park left for everyone to enjoy.
Absolutely. So, you're out there in the community trying to, I mean, I see the little yes on Z signs everywhere with the elephant on them, the smiling elephant.
Well, and that's what I love to hear. We are all over. We're all about getting our signs out, getting the message out. We want people to vote, get to the polls and vote. And we're at a lot of booths throughout Fresno County, spreading our word, talking about just what you said, where it's come in the last 10 years, where it can be going if we vote yes, stressing the importance of it. This keeps our admission prices down. Last year, 691,000 people visited the zoo.
Wow.
But that's because everyone can afford it.
Yeah.
So if...
It's, what, $7 to visit the zoo?
Yes.
Have you been to the San Diego Zoo lately? You know what it costs to get into San Diego Zoo?
40.
More than 40. I think it's 47.
I'm rounding it off, so absolutely.
I mean, obviously the San Diego Zoo is much larger, but still.
Zoos equivalent to Fresno Chaffee Zoo, to make it apples to apples, are at least double what our admission is, and more like the $15, $16, $17 range. And that's what would happen. We'd have to double our prices. Not everyone could afford to go, and all of this construction improvements that we've seen over the last 10 years would have to stop. So it's a great thing for our community. We were talking earlier about education programs. We have a very vast education program that can only get better. We can build a new education center with Measure Z funds. It brings students out. 175,000 people last year benefited from our education program, which Measure Z is a part of making it as great as it is.
Yeah. Why do you feel so passionately about our zoo?
Well, I love our zoo. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, so for someone with children in my age group, it's been really, really fun because that's the 10 years that we've seen it. We've seen what Measure Z has done. So we watched from where it was 10 years ago to the little improvements that you couldn't see as much, the infrastructure improvements, to things really starting to change. Like you said, Sea Lion Cove, Dino Dig, which is such a great exhibit for the little kids. They stay there for 45 minutes. Parents can rest and visit and recharge their batteries and go back on grounds. We expanded Stingray Bay, Komodo Dragon, our King Cobra exhibit, remodeling the whole reptile house is all because of Measure Z. And then Africa, I mean, that sort of speaks for itself. That's going to be
2015
amazing.
Is Africa's projected opening?
This time next year, October of next year.
It's on schedule.
On schedule and on budget.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Have you looked beyond Africa, or has the zoo looked beyond Africa?
Yes, of course, we're waiting till next Tuesday to see what happens. But should it pass, the number one thing that everyone requests and what we are promising is November 4th, if it passes, November 5th, we will start designing a hippo exhibit. We've got to bring back hippos.
Yeah, the old hippo exhibit was pretty bad. It was a big cement bathtub, and I felt sorry for the
Well,
animals
this will
there.
be what we're used to seeing now along the lines of Sea Lion Cove, underwater viewing, so you can see the hippos
Yeah.
swimming. We're talking about it being an African river with hippos and crocs, African crocodiles. And that would just be really exciting and spectacular and seems to be what everybody wants. And then, of course, all of the current African animals will move into that new space, so it's going to leave, right now our giraffe are on nearly 3/4 of an acre. So that space just in there where the giraffe and the zebra are give us a great space to be able to change and expand and do some exciting things within the current footprint.
Sure, sure. How are the little
The
tiger
not
cubs
so
doing?
little tigers?
Well, yeah, not so little now.
I hear one of them has hit the 100-pound mark.
Wow.
They're still so fun to watch. Not too long ago, I saw them all in the water with mom playing like little kids, and they're great.
Now,
doing
they're not
great.
staying here, right? They're going to other zoos around the country.
Tigers typically stay with mom for about 2 years, and then they will go, because they're all part of our species survival program, to help. Right now, there's only 500 Malayan tigers left in the world.
So you have to keep the gene pool mixed up?
Yep, absolutely, and we have 1% of them here in Fresno. So we may keep, there's one person, it's very interesting to learn about all of that. There's one person in the country that's in charge of one species, so say Malayan tigers, and they will decide this one should go to this zoo or that zoo and help, like you say, keep the gene pool going and help conserve the Malayan tigers.
All right. The election is next Tuesday. Here's your chance. Look into the camera. Tell everybody what they need to know about Keep Our Zoo.
Get out and vote next Tuesday. That's the most important thing. But we also want you to vote yes on Z, keep our zoo going in the right direction, and keep all of the great work we've done for 10 years going for another 10 years.
And if you want one of those little signs right there, the Keep Our Zoo, Yes on Z signs, go to the local Me and Ed's.
Yep, all the Me and Ed's, all the United Security Banks. We just restocked over the weekend because there's still lots of requests. Or go to our website. There's phone numbers. You can call us. In fact, when I leave here, I'm delivering signs.
Wow. What about I've seen some giant ones out
We
there.
still have those. Right now, I'm just putting them out on request since we're so close to the election, but we still have them. So if you really want one of those giant ones at your house or your business, again, visit the website, give us a call, and we will come install it. I know how to do that all by myself, too.
Listen, we're almost out of time, but there is a group of people that are opposed
Yes, there are.
to Measure Z.
Yes, there are.
What is their argument in a nutshell, do you know?
Yes, in a nutshell, well, like I've heard, it's rather convoluted. They talk about cost overruns. They think the money's not being spent right. They think things aren't transparent. When the zoo is not in control of Measure Z funds. There is a zoo authority board appointed by the Board of Supervisors that oversees the funds. So the zoo has to go to that board and say, here's our budget, here are our plans. They review it very thoroughly. They go back and forth. They then eventually approve, like they approved Sea Lion Cove in Africa. And then the zoo goes back to report to them. So there's an oversight committee. All of that money has to be balanced to the penny and is audited by outside auditors. So there's full transparency, full checks and balances over all of that Measure Z money. Our meetings are public. These are all the things that they're saying aren't true. There's 3,500 pages of documents online for people to look at our financials, make sure everything is sound. So those are kind of their arguments. We did not go over budget on Sea Lion Cove, which is a claim. We are not going over budget on Africa. They looked at very early projections and pulled a number and said, you went over budget, but simply none of that is true.
Okay. Alicia Anderson, Keep Our Zoo, Yes on Measure Z. Vote next Tuesday.
Thank
I already
you.
voted by absentee ballot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
me on.
And we'll be back with more on Central Valley Talk.